What's up, guys? Now I'll be teaching you how to do the hipster haircut on straight hair. Like always, you want to put on the neck strip first. Half of it goes under the cape and the other half goes over the cape. If you already seen my other videos, you already know the way that I have my clippers set up. I'll be teaching you guys as I go the way I have them set up anyways. But the only clipper that I'm using now that I wasn't using before is this one, the Excel 5-speed from Andes. It goes really fast. So first, I'm going to use the 5-speed Andes with the guard, the 5mm. This is the way to take off the guard, by the way. Make sure you put it on high because you want to cut fast. Add some oil to it. Notice that as I'm bringing my guide to the level where I want it to be, I'm bringing it out in a circular motion to start blending already. You want to make sure both sides are even. I'll be using the number 1 guard on the Andes 5-speed. This is the 1.5mm. I am bringing the clippers up about a ½ an inch in a circular motion to blend in the hair. Now I'm going to use the wall seniors, set on low. Remember the movement of the wrist in a circular motion, very important. So I'm passing the high zero. Now I'm going to use the number 2 with the Andes 5-speed. Keep in mind, guys, that the number 2 with the Andes 5-speed cuts lower than the number 2 with the wall seniors and the number 2 with the Andes masters. And keep in mind that this number 2, the one with the Andes masters, cuts a little bit lower than this number 2, the one with the wall seniors. Notice that I don't want to cut in too much, so what I'm doing, I'm just bringing the clippers out. Bring the clippers out in a circular motion is what's going to blend out the hair. Now I'm going to be using the number 1 guard with the wall seniors. Right now, I'm cutting with the wall seniors. This is the number 1 guard. This is a low 1. Remember, as you're cutting, you want to bring the clippers away from the head. Now, I'll use the half guard set up on low with the wall seniors. I'm verifying my work with the mirror, and now I see that over here it's still a little bit dark, so I'm gonna go over it with a low 1. So now we'll be doing the top. When doing the hipster, if your client is coming into the side, you want to cut it in a 45-degree angle, because you want to leave this hair longer than this hair, the hair that the client is going to come to the side. Some clients are going to want their hair in the front a little bit longer than the back, so keep that in mind. Make sure you ask your client all these questions. Make sure you find out with your client to see how much hair he wants to cut off. See that a lot of barbers have the tendency of cutting too much without really asking the client. For this client, he doesn't want a lot off, he just wanted a little bit off. So that's it for the top. Now I'm gonna verify the work, cross check. When cutting with shears, keep the same amount of tension when holding the hair at all times. Now, since my client wants to leave his hair long right here, I'm gonna make sure not to cut that hair and just start from here back. Now this hair, I'm gonna cut it at a 90-degree angle. The technique that I'll be demonstrating now is called clipper over comb. Here, I'm holding the comb up in a 90-degree angle. But as I'm going up, I'm bringing the comb out just a little bit. Depending on how much your client wants the size to come out, that's how much you're going to tilt the comb. If he wants it more straight up, you're gonna go like this. If your client wants the size to come out a little bit more, you're gonna hold the comb like this, a little bit out. Alright, so keep that in mind. Now I'm going to use the Andes Masters with the number 2 guard set on low. I could have went without doing this, but I'm doing this to get a perfect blend. Now I'll be using the 1.5 again with the Well Seniors. Remember to keep the 1.5 lower than how high you brought the number 2. This is just to perfect the blend. My client wants the size a little bit more in, so I'm gonna go back with the clipper over comb and bring them in just a little bit. And this reminds me to tell you guys that when you're cutting fine hair like this, pay attention to the sides because the hair is gonna stick out. So make sure both sides are the same. In other types of hair, you can get away with it, with one side being a little bit longer than the other, and it doesn't even show. But on this type of hair, when it's so straight like this, it's gonna stick out. So unless it's perfectly the same way, it's gonna show. Go like this to verify your work. Check both sides to make sure one is not sticking out more than the other. Right now, after verifying with the mirror, I see that this side is coming out just a little bit. So I'm gonna go back and fix it. What do you think? Now it's even, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Alright, cool. Now, I'm going to use the thinning shears just to make my blend even better. See how right now it's still a little bit dark around here? To fade it in even more, I'm going to use the thinning shears. By the way, you want to use the thinning shears that have 40 teeth. Doesn't matter what brand, as long as they have 40 teeth. These are actually one of the cheapest ones that you can find, but since they have 40 teeth, they do a good job. How long you want your sideburns? Up to here?
Yeah.
Now I'll be doing the shape up. Keep in mind you want to point at the sideburns with a fine comb. That way the client knows exactly what you're talking about. If you point at it with your finger, there might be some confusion between if you're talking about the top of the finger or the bottom of the finger. To do the back of the neck, make sure you use the edgers, the ones that you kept the blades the same way they came from the store. Now for the back, I'm just fading it out. Make sure you ask your client and make sure that's what your client wants. Always change the blade in front of your customer. That way your client knows that you're using a new blade. Make sure your customer is sitting comfortably on the chair. When doing the eyebrows, make sure you don't do them too thin unless the client asks you to. A lot of people don't like to get their eyebrows too thin. To do the bottom of the eyebrows, stand behind the client and stretch out the eyelid. This is something that a lot of barbers don't do to save themselves a little bit of time, but make sure you do it. Pass the blade behind the neck and use shaving cream too. Don't try to do it dry. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of gel. The last step, use a paper towel for the aftershave. For more videos, check us out at FadeMasterVideos.com. And remember, keep cutting, because practice makes perfect. Take care. God bless. Peace.
Hi, my name is Lee. I've been going to Dre to get my haircut for 10 years. I've never had a bad haircut. If you want to check his videos out, go to FadeMastersVideos.com.